Got a new independent bottler alert. Well, new for me. Welcome to Whiskey Catapult, where we catapult around the world trying whiskeys from all over the world. Today we're catapulting over to Scotland for the Highland region. Yep, Highland region. For some Teaninich. This is from the independent bottler Whispering Waters Whisky. Single malt scotch from the Teaninich distillery, the Highlands region. Excuse me. It's been aged for 12 years. It is 56.5% ABV. And it was finished in a first fill Oloroso barrique. So this bottle actually has a lot of good information on it. Distillation date, February 2012. Bottled in August of 2024. Non-chill filtered, natural color. All the good information you like to see. So I'd actually never heard of this independent bottler before. I was ordering a couple of bottles of the North Star Bothy blend that Ralphie, the other whiskey tuber, bottled on one of his live streams. Put it out there in the world for charity, and I picked up 2 bottles. And while I was on the website for the Whiskey Lab, they're not paying me to say this, by the way. I'm just giving you the story. I saw these, and I really like Teaninich. They've been a kind of quiet source of really good whiskey from independent bottlers. I don't believe they have any official releases except for maybe like a Diageo special release or something like that. But not too easy to get your hands on outside of the independent bottler world. So I figured we'd try. I like Teaninich, 12-year-old's age statement, first fill Oloroso sherry. What's not to like? There's a little bit of heat on the nose. It was kind of nice and zesty. Getting a lot of pear, like pear syrup. If you ever had those little fruit cups of like diced pears that's in the syrup, all in this glass. There's a light funk to it, but still is kind of, it's on the sweeter side. But it's a pretty nice nose. That pear just hits you right in the face. Washes around. You still get some of that pear syrup in there. Still a little bit of that zesty notes coming through, which has been nice. Very sweet. Almost it's kind of a ripe fruit note. I don't think it's a ripe pear. It's not quite to the banana level, though. But it's just kind of flowing back and forth between, like, fresh pear, that pear syrup, and just kind of going back and forth. Like water. That's really nice. Okay. Finish is very light. It doesn't linger too long. It does kind of have that pear note just kind of like bumping up here and there, just kind of like it's bumping up for air every now and then. You just kind of get a little piece of it here and there. And actually at the very, very end, just like a little bit of light pepper. Not quite as strong as cracked black pepper, but just regular on the table pepper. That's nice. So, like I said, I'd never heard of these guys before. It was just because I was getting a different bottle, but I got to commend the amount of information that they're giving on this. I mean, it's got the distillery, the region, the bottle number, which is handwritten on here. This one's 276 out of 300. It's got the ABV, the years. On one side, it's bottled by Young Spirits, Edinburgh, Scotland. On the other side, its initial cask is ex-bourbon hogshead. Finished cask is first fill Oloroso barrique. Aged for 12 years. Distillation ball date, I already kind of went over and everything else. So, yeah, it even has a little bit of tasting notes on here and some information about the cask type. So, and a QR code for additional information. So, And I checked out their website to see if they had any more information on the independent bottler itself. Not a whole lot outside of information on their logo, which looks really cool. And a little bit about themselves, bottling single cask scotch or whiskey in general. But yeah, so I thought I'd give them a try. Very, very interesting bottle shape, very rectangular. It's got a bunch of different angles, pretty good solid cork, which I always appreciate. And I was a little bit worried about this one being difficult to pour or being a messy pour, but none of it really rolled onto the side after the pour into the glass, which I really appreciate. But Teaninich is one of those distilleries that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. Occasionally, an enthusiast will kind of bring it up, but I've had some banger bottles from Teaninich from independent bottlers, so I'm always on the lookout for some. I feel like it's a good spirit to kind of get your feet wet, especially with the new independent baller. So, okay, how do you handle this distillery kind of fashion? It's hard to compare since they're all single casks. Okay, Signatory, Adelphi, these guys. It's hard. It's not really apples to apples, but you can see how they treat a profile of one that you know fairly well. Yeah. The sweetness is kind of toned down a little bit, just being opened up a little bit. But it's all still there. That pear fruit cup and syrup kind of nose, still nice and sweet and zesty. It's a really nice nose. It surprises me a little bit how pear forward it is given the Oloroso cask. I figured it would have been more on the red fruits or darker fruit side. And I'm not complaining. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's definitely a little bit different, which I like. Yeah. Add a little bit of water. 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 5 drops. Not a lot. It's 56.5%, so it's pretty good size ABV. Don't want to drown it too much initially. Yeah, okay. Pear's coming a little bit more forward on the finish now, just from opening up without any water. Still didn't linger too long. It kind of not evaporates fully, but just kind of moves to the side, and you get that little bit of light pepper at the finish, and then a little bit of that pear kind of pulsates, bumps up here and there, letting you know that it's still there. So I guess it technically lingers a little bit longer than I said initially. The nose is a lot fruitier with water. Some of that light pepper's coming through now too on the nose. Not overpowering, which is good. But still have the same pear and sweet syrup note on there. But it's almost more of a fruit cocktail kind of nose now. With how much fruit's just rushing through. The zestiness is actually coming up through a little bit more now. And a little bit of that funkiness. So the pear is kind of calmed down a little bit. The pear syrup is slightly elevated. Zestiness is up a little bit. It's not quite as sweet as it was without water, but it's rounding out very nicely. If it was a little too sweet for you at the initial hit, I think it's a little bit better, or a little calmer with just a little bit of water. And I get just a little bit of dash of that pepper on the palate now. Just ever so slightly here and there on the kind of the baseline. This one's pretty interesting. I know the last thing you want is a boring whiskey. Okay. Finish is still very light. It's actually a little bit sweeter on the finish, surprisingly. But it does linger a little bit longer than without water. But it's still that pear, a little bit of light pepper. Some of that funkiness is starting to come through on the finish now. Yeah. This one's interesting. Definitely not for the early in your journey whiskey drinkers, I would say. But this bottle is still available on their website. I checked right before recording this video, so as of this recording, it's still available. It's $120. I think I got mine for a little bit less because they gave me a discount when I added this with my other bottles. It's kind of like, hey, if you add this to cart, we'll give you a little couple bucks off. So I was like, sure, why not? So yeah, definitely going to keep my eye out on this independent bottler. Their pricing on other things are actually pretty good. And shipping wasn't too bad for my area either. So definitely worth keeping an eye on them. As far as this bottle is concerned, if you're early in your whiskey journey, like your first year, you might hold off. I think just some of the pepper and funky notes might be a little off-putting to some people. But if you're a little further along, I think you really like this, especially if you've had Teaninich before. Very good bottle of this one. Although I will say, like I said, the Oloroso doesn't feel like it's as in your face dark red fruit as you would normally get. So not a bad thing. Just want to make sure that's, noted. But yeah, I like it. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm curious to see what happens more as it opens up. I've had this bottle open for about 3 weeks now. Give it some time to breathe. Had it a couple times. Hasn't changed too much since the neck pour, but as you get down further, it could shift and adjust a little bit. But man, that pear and pear syrup note is very nice. It's not overpowering sweet, like, right up in your face, but it's nice. I'm digging it. So yeah, I'd recommend it. I'm liking it so far. Worth keeping an eye out for other bottles from this independent bottler. So if you enjoyed this review, hit that like button and subscribe to see where we catapult off to next. Cheers.